All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
My Hero Academia, Season 6, Episode 16. Deku's unconscious.
Yep, the kids were badly hurt by everything here, but now it's all for one's free. And not only that, no one can really stop him now. So it's just that weird, awkward breathing area where everyone's like, okay, we can kind of try to go back to normal, recover.
Sort of? Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, for now, who's to say what he's going to focus on. But, yeah, people are unhappy. People are really pissed about the way things have gone down. And they don't even necessarily know
what's
about
really
what
gone down.
In the bigger scheme of things.
So it's going to get worse. And Bakugo, you keep being a beautiful bastard that helps keep this team together. I mean, we need you.
Yeah, he's not really thinking about the team right now. He's just like, hey, I just keep my life on the line
for you,
and you're gonna go and die on me? No, I'll fucking kill you before that happens.
Yep,
love you, man. All right, but y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Whoa, baby hawks.
Oh,
watching this one as well, just like Deku did.
Ooh. And then suddenly you were there with him.
Damn.
Oh. Okay.
Whoa. Oh.
He's used to it.
Jeez.
Eventually it'd change.
Wow.
Right. Actually influenced your life.
I just can't with those eyeballs. It's freaking me out.
Right.
Oh.
Turned her in. Oh. Okay.
Yep. Hero. Yep. Damn! That's fucking Batmobile over here!
Yeah.
So he's talking with the phone. Oh my god. Like distressed denim. Oh. So if anyone blamed me for... Damn.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Oh my god! He is Batman!
Doesn't even need to get out of the car.
Nope. Just here to take pictures. Oh. Yeah. We've been written off.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The divide, yeah. That was a cool way in which there was the highlighting of certain people were happy to see him, but the others were like...
Yeah, these guys.
Yeah.
So that's how Dabi found out?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh. Oh, and the fact that this is being said with the voice thing, so
yeah,
we can't hear his emotions in this.
I was gonna say the backstory felt very cold from his perspective.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Trying to crack a joke right now.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
She's dead, yeah. Oh. Wow. God, this distortion in the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Just total lawlessness.
大量の凶悪ヴィランが解き放たれるという未曾有の事態に加え、人ならざる不気味な存在は遊泳高校に現れて以来、深層下で人々の心を蝕み続けていた。溜まり続けたフラストレーションが度重なるヒーローたちの失態、今回ついに決壊したのだ。
Okay, so you're gonna shine on then, I guess. Wait. What?
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Okay.
Oh, right. Jeez.
Yeah, and they don't stand a chance.
Yeah. Just escalation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9 hero, Yoroimusha.
Yeah, the...
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm glad we get to see that one specifically.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to be a hero? Yep. It's good. Oh. Oh, shit.
All right.
On Endeavor. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, this is way more than what you bargained for, but hey, you said
Keep
watch
fighting
me.
on, struggler.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Poignant. Sure. Fuck. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Turn comedy from there.
We heard him talking to himself. Oh my god. That's both hilarious and so sad.
Yeah.
Like. Fuck this family. Yeah. So much hurt, so much pain. Yep. She's here. Yeah.
That face.
She's holding on to it, though. Yeah, Toya.
Okay.
The Hellish Todoroki Family Part 2. Fuck
All right.
Oh, I like what we're cooking here. All right, y'all. Wow. All right, we got ourselves a very, very different style of MHA episode, but I love how much it's focused back on the themes of what does it mean to be a hero.
What does it mean to be a hero? The ways that the events have changed the characters that we know, the setting up the idea that they will also need to change in the same way that society is changing, giving us hints as to what that might be, and the very different directions that will probably take them.
Yeah, and the very adult response that you have to take when this kind of stuff comes up. Because everyone's response is going to be slightly different. There is no one-size-fits-all response here. And what I really like about the way that they're setting this up here is that all these characters that we're focused on this episode are adults. All of them are essentially the kind of people that have been through their own struggle already and have come out the other end with a realized identity. Most of the main characters in MHA that are the kids and stuff are still kind of figuring out a bit of who they are. They're going through that process right now. But Hawks, or Keigo, has gone through his bit here, but realizing who he needs to be a hero for right now, the one who was the hero for him. And Endeavor has realized that the hero that he had become, even if there was a good side of it, is something that he's going to have to leave behind
because that
fully.
Even if he is changing, that is not what the people will need right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Endeavor, that's not going to work. Right. Yeah.
And that's a very, very hard thing to not just accept, but also then move forward from with strength, because it's a loss. It's a regression in some sense. It's a starting over from zero.
Yeah, but in a lot of ways, I feel like that situation is going to be just fine, because it's
just fine in what way?
Well, because for the most part, it's the problem that they were dealing with regards to Endeavor is an external one as a result of a bunch of, like, not just external to Endeavor himself, Engie as a person, but the Todoroki family, as a result of things that happened within the family. The situation with Dabi, that's going to be its own whole thing, right? But that's not what they're talking about right now, because he has become basically the icon in a negative way for all the failings of Hero Society. And so now, if he is going to be the leader of Hero Society as the current #1 hero, then he's going to have to work on that and change that. But given that he's got his family behind him, including his wife now, I fully believe that he will be well equipped for that task, even though it's a task that is too big for him.
Okay, I feel like we're going at this from different ways here.
Okay.
Endeavor needs to let go of being Endeavor, so therefore he won't be the #1 hero at some point in the future here. He's effectively going to kill the hero, the old one here, so that a new one can come about. From that respect, I feel like he needs to find the middle ground between completely abandoning his responsibilities, like letting go of the persona.
Yeah,
that's really far on the bad side of a pit here, versus the other side, which is, ignoring that and just continuing on day as always. Don't adapt, just stand resolute and strong. You kind of need to find that really uncomfortable middle ground there.
Right, and make sure that this isn't just a rebranding. Oh, we'll change the company's name or whatever. Right. Because in a very real sense, no, don't you dare stop being the hero Endeavor, because you have a lot of sidekicks that will be able to do a lot of good here. The organization that is Endeavor needs to keep going, even if the person, the figurehead, all of that needs to completely change and all that stuff.
From that respect, I feel like you can find a middle ground where it's no, I do not deserve to be the #1 hero. I relinquish my spot as the #1 hero intentionally. I am going to keep working on who I am as a hero, but I cannot be
sure,
Endeavor.
Yeah. Since a lot of the rankings for the heroes is based on popularity, let's be real, even if he is the most effective hero right now,
even if the rankings put him to that still.
Sure, but even then, I doubt they would.
No, you know, but it might be something that takes a bit of time to get to.
Right, exactly. So it's the I am a public figure that is a big deal in the hero society, even though it's changing and all of that stuff. But yeah, there will be a new #1 hero, and I imagine it probably isn't even going to be Hawks, given that Best Jeanist is #3. It's probably going to be
Best
him.
Jeanist, yeah.
Yeah,
Best Jeanist and Mirko and Edgeshot are kind of the top 3.
Right, but even then, Mirko.
Oh, right.
You know.
But Mirko, I think, will be more or less able to get back into things from a physical sense, even though she had her leg crushed, I think it was.
Well, crushed, but then that was the censoring from the manga where it was lost, like actually like ripped off.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So then maybe Mirko's done then. But yes, Edgeshot is the
Jeanist
other
and Edgeshot,
yeah,
and then Kamui Woods and
Kamui Woods. That's it. Yeah, Crust is dead.
Yeah, Crust is dead.
Laundry Hero Wash is the one we just saw here. So they focused on most of the top 10 heroes in this episode.
And there's not a lot of them
that aren't incapacitated, basically.
Yeah.
So right. But the adults basically taking responsibility, finding a way to also then not just wallow in the shame and despair of this, but take a meaningful step forward while not basically kind of falling flat, I think, in terms of adapting, I guess, because I feel like that's the point that Endeavor kind of accepts here when looking down at all the people there, is that Endeavor, the hero, is dead. Even though all the evidence has been brought forth, all the stuff has been addressed, I'm alive, but Endeavor is not getting revived here.
And with regards to them all making their own different decisions for what they're going to do in response to all of this, this is then a very ample time for Hawks to get his backstory, because we know Endeavor's backstory. Yep. We know Enji's backstory very well.
Very well, yeah.
Very, very well. So any of the decisions that he makes, we know exactly where that comes from, the context and the consequences and all of that.
Right.
With Hawks, way less so.
We knew hints of things, and we knew that the family situation was shit, and we knew that he had been recruited by the secret hero organization.
But that's about it. And we still don't really understand who he is as a person. And it's more important that we know that, especially now, because he went through the other, like, really big shakeup in that whole event, because he killed twice, right? It's I'm going to kill him, even though I think he's a good person, because he just needs to die. Everybody knows that I killed him, right? And so, what do I do now? And given that the people that used to give him orders are no longer giving him orders, right? What kind of a person is he? And I find it very interesting that with regards to the backstory, he has kind of like the, hashtag tragic backstory, right? And yet the kid that we saw in that backstory didn't seem to be particularly emotionally affected by what was happening. You know, like all of the awful stuff is happening, and yet like we don't see the point in, like, maybe there was a point
I saw a boy that was emotionally stunted. Like if anything, he had been already affected by it.
Sure.
So it's no, he was fucking like traumatized by it. It's just that he literally did the whole like, I enclosed myself and I shut down. Like,
no, yeah, but that's.
I mean, it wasn't very reactive.
Yeah, as far as like, if the fact that they showed the points in which he didn't have an emotional response to what was happening, maybe because he already had, and so this was the person that he had become, you know?
Yeah.
That means that was that aspect of him was the most important part to showcase, not the fact that, he had all of this stuff happen to him, and, all of the ways that you would, normally associate that affecting a child, right?
Okay.
And so now we're getting into this point where he's going off on this new mission, and I got a very like a serious like not quite foreboding sense, but his direction that he will be taking will, I don't think it'll be in any way similar to Endeavor's, to Enji's rather.
And what do you mean by that? Like,
well, because like if he was the cold enforcer of the government, basically, that would be the hitman if he needed to. Mm-hmm. Now that the government is no longer issuing orders, but he is still that person, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there's a reason that he was able to do this well and rise to this position.
Right.
What does he do now that he actually gets to choose? Because I'm pretty sure he'll probably be approaching situations with that same kind of ruthlessness, even if, you know, it's something where he's his own master now, rather, you know, as opposed to like following other people.
He's just recovering right now. He's in that situation where Genus is basically just carting him around because they need to have protection and stuff, but also someone being put into a situation where they're not being given orders right now doesn't mean that the entire government is so destabilized that he won't ever be brought back into the hero side of things there. So I think it's more of a thing where
that was just him getting time to contemplate and think about himself.
Exactly, yeah. So if anything, the reimagining is that he'll be more focused specifically on who is the biggest linchpin right now for the betterment of society. Who is the star, if you will, that needs to burn bright and you know, and shine bright so that society knows, you know, they have something to look, you know, at with hope. And he sees that it's Endeavor. It's not him. He's a murderer. Even though Endeavor is not who the public needs him to be right now, the Endeavor is in real danger right now, is very much I'm not just worried about Endeavor being the, you know, one that gets killed by, you know, Toya coming to find him or something like that. It's, he is in a position right now where he could dangerously be affected by this whole thing, and things could go even worse for him, and thus affect society in a negative way. So I need to do what I can. I think we have a very clear direction for him. In that regard, and it's I need to save him. I need to save his heart. I need to do what I can to. To be his guardian angel.
Or at the very least, make it so that he can actually effectively keep doing what he's been doing as like a hero in the society.
Or that whatever he ends up doing, he will be effective at it. I think that there's a world here where Endeavor falls apart fully and actually shatters. The idea of him being frozen in those moments when Dabi was confronting him and stuff is the example, I think, of the Endeavor is in danger, but not in the physical danger of being hit by a quirk or something like that, but in the, if he does nothing, if he falls apart, if he essentially becomes like his father, someone who took a route towards life that was to completely isolate and everything from this because of a mistake in the past. There's a very real connection you can draw between the idea that Hawks was the hero, the icon that was the best he could get basically in that time, because, you know, he didn't have anybody close to him to count on in that regard. It was always through the TV. And then when he meets what the heroes actually are, they're flawed, they're not perfect, they have all these issues and stuff. And even Endeavor, his bright icon there who did save him by taking his father and stuff, is actually closer to his father in a lot of ways.
I didn't get any of that vibe from the episode.
Okay.
I like the idea of Endeavor being in danger, absolutely.
Well, that's what he said. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
But that I feel like is of whether there's how society responds to Endeavor, and then there's what Endeavor or Enji does as an individual, right? As far as what Enji does as an individual, I think that's covered, even though that is a point of conflict. We don't need to worry about that, and that's what the wife showing up is, right?
Yeah.
They're going to have that talk, and I can't wait to see it in the next episode.
If we get to see it.
Hopefully.
I don't have a lot of strong faith in the way that MHA handles the Endeavor family situation based on season 5, especially.
Sure.
So,
but you know, I feel like this is the point in the plot where we could absolutely have like an important conversation take up a decent chunk of an episode.
Okay.
But yeah.
Gotcha.
And then as far as how would Hawks help, I don't entirely see how he would be able to help, because he was the other person who got outed, right? He's the I killed a man while he was running away, right? Like,
okay,
like maybe he takes some of the flack off of Endeavor,
right? But that's still what he wants to do. That's how his scene ends. Is basically the I'm going to do what I can. Endeavor's in trouble. Like he's not just stating that as a like, oh, this is a like that's the most like obvious thing as far as observations go. I think he's saying that because of what it means to be a hero for him was taught to him by people like Endeavor and
sure. And so now I'll do the reversal where he saved me back then, even though he didn't realize it, and now I'll save him.
Yeah, maybe there's the part that is something like you're talking about, where it's the maybe he'll do it in ways that won't be visible to Endeavor. Maybe he'll do it in ways that are a bit ruthless or something like that. But he, at the very least, I think is focused on that, at least outside of the connections to his origin that he brought up, talking about Hawks' origin in that regard. So we don't know what those loose ends are,
right?
But
when the assassin of Hero Society says there are loose ends to tie up, that could mean a great many things.
That could, yeah. But yeah, this is a very different episode. It was very disconnected from the overall flow of the plot and stuff like that. That's why I don't think we'll necessarily get a follow-up on it in the next episode. It feels very like, oop, boop, insert here. This is a good spot for it, which it is. I don't think it would have made sense to have any earlier in the season.
Oh, yeah.
But is this an arc? Is this one episode?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in some ways the conversations that to be had between Endeavor or Engie and his family are too complex and have too many ridiculously intense emotions and stuff like that to go through, and a lot of trauma and stuff. I don't know if MHA can handle it, honestly.
The way I think they would handle it, and this was the vibe that I got with the tone that she was speaking to Endeavor with, is that it's is that it would be a form of you don't have time to feel sorry for yourself, with the things that have happened and with the things that you have done. We need you to be we need you to take those strengths that ran rampant and became problematic in the past, and we need you to utilize those to basically soldier on. Maybe it would be a much more understanding conversation than that, but
no, I feel like the thing that's the closest to that is the idea that she said, hey, we feel all that even more than you do. Like, there's a whole aspect of this where Endeavor is maybe being selfish in that he's thinking primarily about his own pain there because he understands the role he played. And I think it's a bit unreasonable to say that it's no, you're wrong for feeling pain about that. I think they're not telling him to just tough it out basically and soldier on. I think this is a thing of where we need to come up with a plan as a family. Like our family, that was a part here. Toya is a part of our family,
right? And so we collectively need to figure out how to deal with this.
We need to do this together. And I think what she's basically saying is, yes, of course you're feeling this. The soldier on part is basically that you don't need to lead this, basically. We need to all be a part of this and all be involved.
Yeah, we will keep going with this, but don't get so inside your head that you think you're the only one who is
feeling the pain and all that.
Feeling the pain, but also capable of doing anything in this situation.
Right. Yeah. And thus it's we don't need you to be the hero here. We need you to be our father. Come into this situation.
Yeah.
Talk to us about Toya. Bring everything out to the table. Let's have another round table discussion, and we'll listen. We'll be there, and they all are here. This isn't some just the kids kind of situation. Right. Rei is here, and this is a very specific scene in that we've only seen Rei really in the present, outside of the flashback, the legendary flashback, a few times.
Yep, and even then we didn't get much interaction with her. It was more like just showing that they were going to visit her and things like that.
Right. So this is a statement by her initiating this encounter beyond the words that she's saying. I think there's a couple things about where, one, this is a very safe environment because in the dark sense, I don't believe this is what's being intended, but Enji can't do anything here. He literally can't do anything in here. So that's one thing. Two, he's been fully unmasked and made fully naked. There is nothing about this where he has anything more that he can really hide from them. So, also even seeing in this scene, he's fully cast into the light, basically. Yeah. And they're basically like, hey, we're going to come in and do this with you. Now,
maybe that's a representation of like they're going to be stepping into the public eye as well, essentially, because like they kind of already are by proximity. But
by proximity, they already are being forced into it. Yeah, but I think you're right that there is an element of standing together in the midst of this, despite the pain. So it's not about what Endeavor needs to do.
Yeah, maybe
it's about him being Enji and basically finalizing yes, it's okay. Let Endeavor die. So that you, Enji, can live. And that feels very Deku, if you will, in a lot of ways. Like, let go of the image of what All Might was to you, but be you as yourself.
We're not going to be demanding that you fight your son. Right.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe the thing that I was picking up on is the fact that the way that Rei has been presented in the show up until this point, it is usually with regards to her herself, she is in a position of weakness, if you will.
Sure.
Right? Being in the hospital, being the one who is visited and things like that.
Right.
Being the one who wasn't able to handle the situation of what was happening, wasn't able to change the situation, right? And then was removed from the situation.
Yeah.
Now she is entering into this situation. She is the one speaking from a place of strength.
She brought the flowers that he brought her back when he was starting his transformation.
Right.
So it's showing that she's like, I've received your invitation to rebuild. I've accepted this, and now I come here with my offering of, hey, we're gonna be here, we're gonna listen. Tell us about Toya. Tell us everything. Let's form something together. It's when a family's in crisis, everyone is involved in the planning. There's no voice that's less important because they're not the head, if you will, or even a part of the hierarchy kind of set that's usually involved in some kind of family where it's the parents versus kids kind of thing.
Yeah, especially since it's they gave birth to these children.
They are
not children anymore.
Literally, just Todoroki. Shoto is probably the only kid left.
And yet, even then, you were okay with him fighting alongside you.
Yes.
With this whole situation.
He's entered the world of adults.
He's entered the world of adults.
Yep.
Yeah.
I beg of you, MHA, please continue this storyline. I don't care if it's in the next episode or not. I have a little bit of reservation about the plot line of the Todoroki family being handled well, not because of Horikoshi's failing, but because of adaptation failing stuff of the fifth season. That was one of the parts of the fifth season that I was the most excited for, and thus my high expectations when it was very mediocre and flat fell the most for me.
That hurt as far as the season 5 experience way more than any this training arc is kind of made,
or parts that were like, oh, this is cool, but it's maybe some rough things around the edges. No, it's the area where season 5 had very high ambition in a lot of cases, and thus they shot for the moon and didn't land among the stars.
Yeah.
You know, so this is a very exciting thing that we're actually having the part 2. Let's follow up on this, but
the thing that I'm hopeful that gives me a lot of hope about this in a like
hit me with it.
Tangible detail kind of way.
Yeah.
Deku's unconscious. The story can't really continue while Deku's unconscious, right? So, you know, like
I mean, I get
like
you.
It's true. but you know, he's the main character, right? So while he's unconscious, we have a lot of leeway to go in different directions
have a lot of season 6
that don't
left.
involve Deku.
That's true.
Right.
It's more just because the OP focuses mostly on Deku being out and about post being unconscious.
We have to see a decent bit of that before the season ends, right? Like it can't be where like the last episode as he goes into that direction, like that wouldn't fit.
I think it's literally going to be within 3 or 4 episodes. Because there's
that's
25 or 26 episodes in this season, so we've still got 9 or 10 episodes to go. So, or 8 or 9 episodes to go. So that's pretty good, all things considered. But this is an episode that gives me a lot of excitement for the direction of the story, taking a more mature tone, handling the topic of if your icons, who were never worthy of worship or any kind of, you know, insane adoration for that to begin with,
they were still just people.
They were still just people, are brought into the light as being flawed human beings, and for some of them, they were pretty fucked up humans as far as things go.
Yep.
Do you want to see human beings change and go through that process of changing? Are you willing to, in some ways, walk with them as they go through that? Because in this world where things are a little bit more extreme, because we have literal superpowered humans and stuff, let them be late to a crisis because they're handling tons of stuff like Wash was. Let them do what they can, even though it's Genus was in the area and he saw some stuff going on, and he's like, I can't actively bring about, change for this whole district here, but I'll do what I can.
My sidekicks, and even then, I wouldn't be surprised if the sidekicks he was able to actually send weren't that many, because he's already going to be crazy stretched thin.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that whole side of things to be brought into the forefront of the story as well, because it's a very adult topic. But it's the kind of thing that I think gets reacted to in a more childish way by the general public.
One of the things that has happened in a lot of stories that I've seen that I don't like is where they have a character that, you know, is a horrible person, goes on this wonderful redemption arc, but then there's this sense that at the end of the day, they still need to, like, die or something like that because they were a horrible person back then.
Right.
You know? Because it doesn't matter that you went on this awesome redemption arc.
Right.
You know?
It's a tragedy trope. It's basically the
at best it's a tragedy trope.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You know? I was only thinking about it in the best possible light. Yeah, it's the when you like it, it's for sure, this character,
at least they were able to, you know,
they were able to do something, that
before the end,
that had a lasting impact, even though they changed a little bit. Yes, there's maybe a bit of there's a karmic aspect to it that I think a lot of storytellers use, where it's I don't want to deal with the, to use this word, reparations aspect of them actually like going about and fixing the problems that they did. If you want to look for a great, but also very shallow example of this, but I would say one that still works really well, is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, where even after the story is over, there's this whole process that a lot of the characters are going to be set about going on of serving the people that they did horrible things to in the past. And yet the reason why I feel like that one doesn't really get focused on in that specific way is because we know that all these characters are good. They just made decisions, they were, just following orders and all that, and it's
it's the thing of, well, and in that one, it's the story leaves off and they then dedicated their lives,
but they don't actually show that.
But it doesn't actually fix it. It doesn't show it, because how do you? If the conflict is you can, but it's very difficult because you need conflict in stories. Otherwise, why are you telling the story, right? If it's just 20 years of dedication to trying to fix things, that's
the conflict is the process. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is that this might be also another another funny thing about us as a society as well. But we don't even necessarily like to see that stuff in our stories sometimes. So it's the idea where, we're going to have this story in a fictional world where we focus on the...
You're saying change is hard? Ooh.
Or people are going to have conflict when they go about to change. It's not immediate. It's not it's not a thing that they themselves just do.
Yeah.
There's actual conflict that they have within about the change, but also that comes from without.
Afterwards? Yeah.
Just from their environment. For the environment's like, who are you to change?
Right.
How dare you think that you can just wipe away the things that you've done?
I absolutely adore the ending of original trilogy Star Wars with Vader throwing Palpatine into the pit and everything.
Right.
Right. It's like, yes, that's fantastic. That's awesome. Luke is able to reach his father and all that stuff. But like, if Vader didn't die there, there would be some interesting things,
that the story would have
to address. Like, so that whole like systematic annihilation of a whole culture.
Well, a culture. The Empire,
in addition to all the Empire
did
stuff.
the Empire stuff, and Vader led that stuff. So yeah, it's something where if you want to do it, Horikoshi, fucking go for it.
Yep. And just I love that
have Endeavor and Enji's character be the vessel for all of that.
And he is needing to deal with shit that he was a product of and an example of, but he doesn't. It's not his fault that Hero Society was fucked up. Right?
Correct.
Like, yes. It is absolutely his fault, all the stuff that he did with regards to his family. He played a piece of that.
Well, and the stuff as being a hero.
Yeah. But that's one person bearing the brunt of the entire systematic problem, basically.
Correct.
Now. And so if he is able to bear that, that is a great way to basically go above and beyond in the showing.
Right. But that's why I think Hawks is important, is that he understands how Endeavor can be, in some ways, the funnel for that societal blame and burden. And he's like, I'm so sorry, I have all this pain and stuff like that. And they're like, whoa. We feel, in some ways, even more of that pain, too, because we're not necessarily used to this, but also we're kind of in the company, talking to his family. We have all the complicated emotions attached to it as well. So Hawks is literally going to be the one coming in with wings to help light his burden a little bit.
Okay, I like that.
And if Hawks potentially does the thing where he does, which is a common trope with spies specifically, where they take intentionally more burden than they're actually to blame for. They kind of end up being the scapegoat, if you will.
And I think that's what Hawks is going to do, is he's like, Endeavor can actually be a #1 hero, or Enji can be a #1 hero.
He can be a public face.
Right, he can be a public face, he can do all that stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Me, I'm not suited for that role.
I stay in the darkness.
I stay in the darkness. So, if people need to dirty their hands, I'm the one to do it.
Yep.
In a situation like this, I could absolutely see him being the, you think Endeavor's bad? Yes, he had all kinds of family problems.
Right.
Just wait till you get a load of me, right?
But that's the thing. He has to be very careful about how he does this, because everything he does could just make the general stuff worse.
Yep.
We saw the way that all the crowd responded to Best Genius. I loved the simple highlighting thing to show the differences there, because I saw the people, but my brain couldn't see both of them at the same time. I had to switch.
Yeah,
to
and so the fact that Genius was just like taking quick stock of like, okay, cool, that's
30% of the crowd.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with here. Okay.
We have 30% approval rating kind of thing.
Right.
Oh shit, that's really bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad for a society that basically runs on the heroes as the general way in which everything kind of flows together. Because you have all these people with quirks and stuff that aren't necessarily ones that work well for heroes, but if they end up in a situation where there's no police, there's no public security, there's lawlessness in the streets, there's no caped crusaders coming in to do their daring do kind of thing.
Nope.
They're going to pick up the latest and greatest thing that they can to protect themselves, and things are going to get worse and escalate, and suddenly it's not just people coming in with knives or glutton powers or whatever. It's going to lead to war and death in the streets and stuff. There's a very scary line when a city becomes run by basically the amount of fear that a group can exude basically by their influence. You will get basically Gotham City from the Batman, comics and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like you will get that, and I mean you'll get it quickly.
Oh yeah, especially since like quirks are such an extreme thing, and yet while 80% of the populace has a quirk of some kind, and we haven't really been seeing them with a lot of like the civilians and stuff, but effectively we can just kind of assume they have quirks, but they're not helpful.
Well, right, 80% of the populace has quirks, yes.
Right, but they might be, Deku's mom kind of a thing of slowly float objects.
Floating eyeballs,
Yeah, exactly, right? That's not going to help them when, like, people are trying to do them harm, you know? So you still have a situation where the people that are trying to do harm probably have things that help them do that, And then what do you do?
What do you do? Like, we don't have to look far in our real world to find cities like that, where it's that's just literally happening right now. So it's the kind of thing where imagine that, but with quirks and that. So this is gonna be a scary time. But hey, MHA getting more mature in general, always a thumbs up from us. We love that.
And please give us that conversation between NG and Ray. Please spend as much time on it as you need.
We want it.
We need it.
If it's not in the anime, I will fucking go to the manga and I'll do it myself,
Yeah.
But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and very long, tough discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below. For our Patreon, you can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out my Persona 5 Royal Let's Play on Twitch. If any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.